Hey everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to Generation X Nation. Again, I am Generation X. All right. First things first, thank you to everybody who has watched the video, who has liked the video. Keep hitting that like button. Keep hitting that like button. Keep watching the videos. Keep sharing my page, okay? My YouTube channel. I do a lot of hard work putting out these videos. I know my take is a little different than everybody else's, but again, I am Generation X. I was born in a different time frame, okay? I was born when we were still drinking water out the water hose, not out of bottles. Okay, so let's get started. As the thumbnail says, this is going to be a real quick video, and I mean quick, about Wendy Acefel and her husband and how they need to fix this mess. Because as quiet as it's kept, we liked you, Wendy. We really did. Now, with that being said, there's a few things I think Wendy could do to get this back on track. It's going to take a while. I understand they got time. They're sitting there getting their strategies together, probably talking to their publicists. As a person who have watched reality TV and seen people fall and come back, there's a way to fix this, Wendy. But the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to just be a little humble. All right? Now, first thing, Andy likes Wendy. Andy do not want to get rid of Wendy. Okay? And before I get started, everything I say is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. All right? So let's go. Now, Wendy, we know you probably got a good publicist. If you don't, get you one, but I'm sure you do. Get you a good publicist. At some point, you and Eddie going to have to make another statement better than the first one you put out. A real, genuine statement with some real apologies about everybody that you disappointed, that you hurt in this particular incident. Not saying that you are guilty. I'm not saying that you are innocent, but let's keep it realistic. If they came to your house, took you down to the police station, and charged you with that many accounts, as they say, where there's smoke, it got to be just a little bit of fire. Secondly, you got to learn how to act remorseful at this point. You need to act a little weak, a little remorseful. I don't know, shed some tears or something like that. I don't know, hire an acting coach, but we need to see some tears. We need to see I'm sorry. You need to see I got caught up in a lot of stuff I shouldn't have got caught up in, and it just got over my head. That's what you need to do. Um, Again, humble yourself. Humility plays a big role when you apologizing to people. They like to they like to see that you feel you made a mistake, you're apologizing, and you bringing yourself off of that big high horse that you were sitting on. Um, and prepare some to answer, be prepared to answer some tough questions, especially from your castmates on the Housewives of Potomac. Do not do not in any shape, form, or fashion attack them, cuss at them, want to fight them. Again, stay humble because you are in this now. You done dug this grave, you done made that bed. You gonna have to lie in it. They coming at you, and especially Ashley and all the ones who thought you was a pumpus or you thought you was more better than them. Giselle, they all laughing. I can guarantee you, and I don't even listen to the Green Eye Bandits podcast, but Robin, guarantee you Robin was on there with Giselle having a time of their life at your expense. Okay? And if she didn't do it, I'd be surprised because Robin didn't like Wendy either. Now, with that being said, you need to link up with some other reality TV people and see how they were able to get back on top after they had some bad things happen to them on national TV. First person you might want to reach out to could be like a Phaedra Parks. Phaedra married Apollo right out of prison. Apollo ended up going back to prison. They got divorced. That was a little, it was a little black mark on Phaedra. Let's be honest. You married a criminal and you're a lawyer. But Phaedra was able to redeem herself and move forward. Get in a group chat with Phaedra, find out what's going on. Karen just getting out, so she may be, chilling for a while and watching everything unfold. But the one thing about Karen is she did her time. She finally didn't have a choice but to admit to it. So she had to do the same thing you did. She had to humble herself and admit that she had a problem. And now Karen's going to come back to the show and we're going to love it. They're going to ask her questions. Karen will have the opportunity to answer or not answer at this point because everything was played out in public. She don't have to answer to anything else. Call Karen up and ask Karen what you think I should do. Because remember, in the earlier seasons, Karen and Ray had some tax problems that she had to deal with. That was a little shameful, but what they did not do, they did not go out there and get money illegally. They sat through it and they sat in it. Okay? Bethany Frankel. Bethany Frankel starred on the Housewives of New York. She was a friend of Jill's. She said she was almost homeless when she got offered to be on the show. She built an empire. She married some dude she barely knew. She had a baby, and then he took her to the bank and tried to clean her out. It didn't work. But ask Bethany, how did you handle the scandals? And later on down the road, she got mad at Andy and she sued Bravo. So there are people that you can talk to. Um, Ashley and Michael, as quiet as it's kept, Ashley's sitting there laughing. But Ashley, you had your moment on the show when y'all was sitting there facing almost a SA case. You know, Giselle said your husband came to her room and tried something in the middle of the night, but you kikiing with Giselle right now. The producers came forth and said you did touch them inappropriately, to the point where he did touch them inappropriately, to the point where Michael was put off, basically put off the show. He said he left, but I think he was put off the show to avoid some lawsuits. So you got some people in your circle you can talk to. Let's look at Mia and Gordon. Mia and Gordon lost all of their businesses right there on their show in front of all our eyes. Had to move from that big old mansion to an apartment. And then Gordon ended up losing Mia. You know, she had the whole fake paternity storyline. Mia down in Atlanta living her best life, ended up breaking up with Ink anyway, and now she with Bobby Valentino. She was able to bounce back. Let's look at basketball wives, and I forget the young lady's name, but she just getting out of federal prison for PPP loans and fraud. The Chrisleys, oh, they were pardoned by Donald Trump. They're back. They got a podcast. They took their L, went to jail, came back out, got a podcast. What I'm saying to you, oh, when let's not talk about Eugene and Toya. I seen a young lady do a TikTok about that, and she is right. Eugene and Toya went through damn near bankruptcy. They had moved to multiple homes. They had to downsize. Toya was overextended. Eugene was working like a slave. We thought Eugene was going to have a heart attack and die. He was putting in that work to get that tax lien out. I think he had $100,000 worth of taxes they owed. They rented homes. They did everything they could, but now they're on top. The point is, Wendy, if you and Eddy were having financial difficulties, that is nothing new on these reality TV shows. The last thing you should have did was scam, allegedly. You could have just came forth and say, hey, we are having some financial woes right now. We may have to downsize our house. And of course, the castmate's going to answer, y'all got money. Y'all ain't got money. Ew, I hear she's returning stuff back. Let all that play out. Anything is better than being considered a scammer or going to jail. I would have said, you know what? We got to readjust. I left my tenureship at John Hopkins. He's not practicing law anymore. We putting all our money into Happy Eddy. I'm putting my money into other business ventures and then the money I get off of the show. So yeah, we had to restructure our finances. You continue to try to live this lavish lifestyle, but you didn't have the same income coming in. And that's where people feel like you was doing too much, trying to keep up with the Joneses, when you should have just said, hey, we're going to have to cut some things out because we no longer have the same amount of income or the income resources that we had before. You didn't have to wear all these name brand quality clothes. You could have just got some, mid-grade stuff, or do like the ladies down there in Atlanta and lease it and rent it out for the show and turn it back in. It just doesn't make any sense. All right. Um, Katie was on the show. Katie had to, Katie was dealing with drugs, alcohol, you name it, Katie dealt with it. But she dealt with it publicly on the show, and we still know that Katie got some stuff going on based on what she posted recently. The point where, oh, and let's not forget the biggest scammer of them all, and on the Housewives, that Jen Shaw, who was robbing old people of their retirement pensions and funds and 401ks, who's sitting in federal prison right now. All I'm saying is, and the reason I have an issue with Jen Shaw, I should go back to Jen Shaw. The reason I got an issue with Jen Shaw is Jen Shaw left a lot of victims in her scams. You guys, everybody else I named pretty much were victimless other than you harming your family and your family name and your children, wasn't a lot of victims involved, just yourself. So I feel like, Wendy, you can redeem yourself. I know right now you're still going through the shock. It's wearing down a little bit. It's going on the second, third week of this, incident. It's going to wear down. It's going to get quiet and it's going to be numb until the court cases come up, and then everybody will bring it back up again. So during this time frame, get you some prepared statements. Be ready to talk to people. Let the cameras roll, because as long as the cameras rolling, you making money. Because if you have to pay some type of restitution back, you gonna need that Bravo check. So humility is a good thing. I would say you and Eddy get together, tag team, figure out a strategy, call Andy in, do a one-on-one interview with him, and like I say, sit there and let him know, Andy, I just don't know what happened. We were getting over our head in debt, and we just made some bad decisions and we shouldn't have done it. Something to that effect. Okay? Just something to that effect. That's all you have to do. And I think doing that, Wendy, because you had such a big, huge following and a lot of people liked you on the show and respected you, I think they expect you to come out with something like that. Just my opinion. Now, NECA and Kay and Ashley and all, they don't care. They have an issue with you anyway, so it's funny to them. Hee hee ha ha. But we understand. And Robin, as I said in the previous video, Robin started on the show very humble because she was in an apartment and her husband had just lost all their fortunes in some bad investments or business deals, according to her. All their NBA fortune, all his NBA fortune was gone. And she was able to rebuild herself. I mean, like her or, whether you hate or love Robin, she was able to rebuild herself out of that. And we watch her go through it. And even though she was getting on our last nerve, you cannot take away from the fact that Robin rebuilt her whole life out of that rut that her husband left her in, and rebuild it and got them back on top with their money where they're financially stable. And then this idiot almost lost it again with the lawsuits and the stuff he was doing at the college for whatever reason. That's another story. I don't know why Robin stayed with that clown, but love is love, I guess. All we saying, Wendy, is a little humility goes a long way. And I know you're a smart girl. I know you got a good publicist. I know you got a good lawyers, but lawyers cost money. And if you scamming for $450,000, that means your funds is probably getting low. And the type of lawyers you need is going to cost a lot of money. So get the Bravo cameras rolling. Don't run from the cameras. Just do the best you can to film with people who are going to show you a little grace starting out. Because if you go to Ashley and you go to Giselle to start filming, you know them two heifers going to be like, so what happened, Wendy? Why'd you already know they're going to put pressure on you. Find some people you can feel with who will have some humility for you at this moment, like Stacy or somebody, and just have some conversations with them. Say, I don't want to see the girls right now because I know how they're going to come. There's some other things I'm working on. It's personal, or my lawyers are handling it, whatever you need to say. But I think for the sake of all the fans who like you and the people who have hold you in such high regards, you owe them at least just a quick interview. You don't have to discuss the case because we understand it's ongoing legal issue, but just a quick interview to let them know that you are humbly apologizing. And you can say, I'm completely innocent. Jen Shaw said I was it. Jen Shaw said she was innocent all the way up until the minute she got to New York and then pleaded guilty, and having them sitting there like they shot. Like, come on now. But anyway, again, that's another story. So Wendy, I think that you'll be okay. Just follow a little bit of that advice. If you hear it, if you don't, that's fine too. And I think humility is basically your friend at this point, Wendy. Good luck to you. Good luck to Eddy. As I always said, I love Eddy. I love Wendy. I think she's a highly intelligent young lady. I just think that you made a bad decision in, I guess, a desperate time in your life. But we'll see what happens. Again, everybody, this is Generation X Nation. Like, follow, subscribe, leave a comment. What do you think? I think Wendy and Eddie at this point need to practice just a little humility, make a quick interview that don't tell too much, because I do understand there are legal things pending, and she needs to continue to film on that show and, just keep it pushing. All right. And if you think I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But hey, leave a comment. This is Gen X Nation. You guys go have a great rest of your day. And I'm out.